Hello, this is jaw1LA, and I wanted to make some comments about the one-year Bible reading for the 13th of April. First of all, I think there are many passages in the Bible that initially will offend or challenge the modern sensibilities of the modern and postmodern mind. And one of those is the whole story of Joshua going in with the people of Israel and on God's initiative taking over other people's lands. It feels very imperialistic, powerful, warmongering. Number of different things. First, we have to remember in the larger context of history, human history, that in this time period, it was common for people to associate their understanding of God and their understanding of success at war with, well, my God is stronger than your God, and therefore my God helped me take over and conquer you. And so while we have all sorts of ideas that have actually come through the Judeo-Christian tradition and other traditions, that social exchange can actually happen in nonviolent ways. Most of human history is marked by either people trying to conquer each other or people trying to make capital out of each other through taking advantage of each other economically. Context. We've got to remember that God's trying to work with human beings as they are and trying to draw them into a completely new way of seeing the world. So, you have, on one level, a very severe judgment of God on Israel for sin in their own camp. And it seems to be catastrophic in nature. But also, they're leveling out judgment that is catastrophic on others. I think to understand what it meant to be the ones as a community, to raise the bar about what the holiness of God is and what the holiness of God requires, to be the people who carried the law of God into culture. I have every respect, and I am humbled by the history of the Jewish people, and I thank them for what they've brought to us. The idea that the law of God can transcend the law of a king or a man or any human person really would lay the framework for the idea that laws could govern rather than kings. History goes back to Lex Rex and a bunch of things like that. But fundamentally, you have two things. You have this judgment in Israel's camp that comes in the Old Testament reading, that's severe. I'm uncomfortable with it. You have judgment then brought on really a city and it's severe. And then you have this reiteration of the law. And I really would encourage people to look at, I believe it's Deuteronomy 28, where for example, there's this listing of blessings and curses based on whether Israel followed the law or not. That is, now here's a people who would advance and grow in their ability to take hold of and maintain a presence in the promised land based on not their personal power and strength, but rather whether they were holy enough to keep the land. Huge. You have this history where Israel actually never ultimately proves to be holy enough to keep the land forever. In fact, it exposes the way that the human condition is. And then, in the midst of this, from a Christian perspective, God takes ownership of this problem of evil and enters in through the person of Jesus and bears what we cannot bear. Bears the consequence of our own sin and creates a pathway where we can enter into a loving relationship with a holy God as sinners that we are. And it's in this context that if you look at Matthew 5, 6, and 7, if you look at what Jesus does in the Sermon on the Mount, he re-examines the law, and then he helps show God's heart intent in the law. And then you have that profound calling that Jesus lays out, to love our enemies, to do good to them that hate you, to pray for those who despitefully use you. Those things can only be done if you are truly secure, you know who you are, and you're not afraid. And the reason why he knew that the Christians could come to a place where they would not be afraid and could move into a completely different posture with history is because of the death and resurrection of Jesus. Now, this is a lot to reflect on. I just wanted to give some ideas to stir the pot. Look again and wrestle with it. And, this passage isn't comfortable. But remember that this rehearsal of the law, that they knew that they were going to bear a standard, that this country, this land, was going to be God's land, and that they deserved to stay in the land if they obeyed the law. They didn't deserve the land and the blessings of it if they did not. Now, I wonder, when we look at the whole planet, well, when God, from a Christian point of view, when Christ comes back, we'll have to give the planet back. Well, God bless. I hope this is thought-provoking, and keep the faith.